You're teed up for Golf News RI TV with your host, Joe Calabro, and his guests. We're talking everything golf around the region and on the tours. Now, here's your host, Joe Calabro.
Hey everybody, welcome to GolfNewsRI TV, episode 10, the halfway point of the season. We still have 10 great episodes to go, including this one. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to all the sponsors who are making this show possible. And obviously all the guests that we've had throughout the season to this point, especially obviously last week's show with Billy Andrade was tremendous. So thanks to everybody for the support and making the show possible. We're here today at Pawtucket Country Club. We're going to get to the Burke Fund in just a minute with Amanda Parker. But first, I want to get to the RI Women's Amateur, which happened a few weeks ago now. Kylie Eaton won the tournament in a walking boot, nonetheless. And so we talked to her afterward and got her thoughts on her second Women's Amateur title.
Kylie Eaton captured her second RI Women's Amateur title in the last 4 years. Eaton beat Elise Knudsen 2-1 at Alpine Country Club to take home the trophy.
The last hole was a little bit shaky, so I was glad to get the up and down there and secure the win. But overall, good week, lots of birdies, so Elise played really well, but I'm glad I came out on top today.
The story of the tournament was that Eaton played the match play portion in a walking boot after hurting her ankle the weekend before. Nonetheless, she still emerged victorious.
It's different. I feel a little lopsided and can't really pivot, but other than that, it's all good.
The match went back and forth on the front nine, with both players missing out on some opportunities. On the backside, Eaton took control, going 3 up with 3 to play.
I thought hole 5 was probably going to make or break the entire match of how I handled that, because I 3-putted from maybe 10 feet. So I was not happy, but Adriana helped keep me grounded, honestly, and I just had to get rid of it quickly from my head, because definitely in the moment I was super frustrated.
Eaton closed out the match by cuddling this chip close on the 17th hole. Now she heads back for her sophomore year at the University of Illinois, riding high.
I thought that this past year I didn't play the golf that I know I'm capable of, so it was nice to just this summer just steadily see the progression, just feeling a bit more confident with the irons and the driver. And putting has always been there, so it's been nice to supplement that with some good shots from time to time.
For GolfNewsRI, I'm Joe Calabro.
So congrats to Kylie Eaton on her second Women's Amateur title. She is no longer in a walking boot, just in case everyone's curious. She's headed back to college at the University of Illinois her sophomore year, and in just a few weeks, summer's almost over. So good luck to her, and again, congrats to her on the victory. Again, we're here today at Pawtucket Country Club, and now we're joined by Amanda Parker, the executive director of the Burke Fund. You've all heard of the Burke Fund. You all love the Burke Fund. Amanda, thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
So you've been with the Burke Fund for, you said 5 or 6 years, somewhere in there?
Yeah, right before COVID.
You've been executive director of the Burke Fund for 5 or 6 years,
and then,
is what I meant.
Yeah, before that, I was myself a Burke Scholar. I worked at a buttonhole, and then I was on the board for a few years before I became the executive director.
So you're a Burke Scholar. Before we get to the Burke Fund and all that goes with it, I'm a Burke Scholar as well, which is cool. When did your love of golf start? Why golf?
I've been involved with golf since I was 7. I started playing when I was 7. I played in high school, I played in college, and then I went to Sacred Heart University. I majored in business sport management. I worked for the We Met Fund for a few years after college, and now I'm with the Burke Fund. So golf has always been a part of my life from a very young age.
The Burke Fund is awesome. They give scholarships to kids and people that are involved in the game, whether you're caddying like me, or a bag room or pro shop. And I think they even expanded it to people that work in like the kitchen or the dining room, something like that.
We do some clubhouse employees, but mostly we are bag room, pro shop staff, caddies, maintenance, grounds crew, stuff like that. But our bulk of our scholars are from either caddies or the pro shop or grounds.
So talk a little bit about, for people that don't know what the Burke Fund is, you don't have to repeat the whole history of it, But just talk a little bit about the Burke Fund, essentially what it does, and
Sure.
kind of where it came from, if you will.
Sure. So the Burke Fund was established in 1946 in memory of John Burke, who passed away in World War II. He was a great Rhode Island golfer. He went to Georgetown. He won what we now know as the NCAAs, but it was the intercollegiate athletics back then. He won that. So he was a great golfer, and he was invited to the Masters, I believe in 1941, but due to work commitments, he couldn't attend. He ended up working and then was sent overseas, was drafted, and unfortunately passed away in friendly fire. So 2 years after his death, the RIGA and some of his friends got together and they established the Burke Fund in his memory.
You just repeated the whole history. It's almost like you knew it. And you talk about your time as the executive director now. What are you what things have you accomplished? Are you trying to accomplish? And how did that role kind of come about?
Sure. So before I took over, Maury Davitt was the executive director for many years, and he did a great job, and we were so thankful for him. He unfortunately passed away, and that's when I took over. But what we did was we ended up doing a whole kind of branding for the Burke Fund. We'd had a new logo made, a new website, to hopefully kind of get our brand out there more in Rhode Island, in the Rhode Island golf course community.
And then coming up, obviously we're going to get into some events that are coming up probably in the next segment, but how can kids, if there are kids looking to get a Burke, or at least be considered for a Burke Fund scholarship, how can they go about getting involved? How can we get more kids involved in this stuff?
Right, so you can just go right on our website, burkefund.org, and the application is on there. So we, as a requirement, students have to have 2 full golf seasons is what we consider it, at a RIGA member golf course. And then they can apply right on our website. Applications are due June 1st. And then we have an interview process. We ask for letters of recommendation, transcripts, and then August 1st is when we send out the letters, letting kids know if they received a Burke Fund scholarship and how much they did receive.
And you guys just did the interview process a few weeks ago. I saw you at Rhode Island Country Club during the State Am. You were there. You guys were upstairs, and I was in the media room or whatever.
Yeah,
that just happened a few weeks ago.
Right, a few kids actually caddied in the State Am and then came for their Burke Fund interview right afterwards. So
nothing like experience like that.
Right off the course.
And it was hot too. They must have been chugging some water. Right. We're gonna have much more with Amanda Parker and the Burke Fund here on GolfNewsRI TV. I'm Joe Calabro. Stay with us. Welcome back to GolfNewsRI TV. I'm Joe Calabro. We're here at Pawtucket Country Club today with Amanda Parker, the executive director of the Burke Fund. And thanks again for coming on. We got into scholarships a little bit. Talk about how many you guys are giving away this year. I know you wanted to mention that.
Right. So this year we actually have one of our biggest classes. We're giving away 27 Burke Fund scholarships to mostly incoming freshmen. However, we have 90 scholars right now out in college that are receiving Burke Fund scholarships. So the Burke Fund scholarship is 4 years renewable. So once we give them their scholarship, they send us their transcripts, and then we send them a check for their next year's award. But we have 90 scholars right now in college, and we're giving away just over $160,000 to those 90 students.
It can go a long way when you're paying for books or classes,
right,
or whatever it may be.
Right. We've tried to keep up with the cost of college too. When I went to college, although it wasn't that long ago, it wasn't as expensive as it is now. So I remember the Burke Fund paid for all my books in college, which was very helpful. So we've tried to increase the awards every year to help keep up with that cost.
And it's also nothing like being a part of the Burke Fund, like alumni club, if you will. I was telling you off the air before we came on the air about how when you go to school, you get all kinds of money from everywhere.
Right.
Or most people do anyway. But you don't really remember where it's from. You just know that you got money. But you always remember at least for me, you always remember that you got something from the Burke Fund. Or, you know, you're a Burke Fund scholar. And I remember you used to have, I'm sure you still do, you have the dinners at Wannamoyset.
Yep, we have that coming up next week.
And I think one of my dinners one year, Patrick Little was the guest speaker, and he was like, and I was interning at WPRI at the time because I wanted to do media, and so now it's funny all these years later, like here I am.
Right, and actually his son is a current Burke scholar.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, small world.
Right.
So you always remember that stuff like that, and different people come to the dinners. You meet other alumni.
You meet other alumni too. You know, you don't realize how wide the Burke scholar net is cast. But there's so many times that I'll just be out playing, and you know the Burke Fund comes up, and it was like, oh, I was a Burke scholar, and you know, it really is a family.
Yeah, it's really, it's a family, like you said. It's a good way. It's a good way to put it. How's your game these days? How are you playing? You made the match play for the women's, yeah.
I did. I did. The qualifying round was touch and go. My rangefinder was on meters for a few holes, so it took a little while to figure that out. So if you're looking at my scorecard and if I was wondering what happened in the middle. But I did make the match play. I hadn't played in the women's AM in a while, probably since college, so it was good to get back out there.
That's pretty funny. Check your rangefinders.
Yeah, exactly.
Before you go and play something competitive. We talk about the women's AM and obviously you playing in it, but you being involved in the golf business, if you will, as a woman. What does that mean? Because I don't want to say it's rare. It's not rare anymore, but it is still kind of a thing, I guess. Like, it's still somewhat. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say, but you know what I'm trying to.
Right. No, I know what you mean. Luckily, we do have. So when I joined the Burke Fund, our board was made up of mostly males. We do have females on the board, which is exciting. And you know, I just love seeing girls in golf and women in golf and getting more involved.
Now, a couple weeks ago, we had Michelle Umbriano on, and she won her club championship at Alpine. So now if you go on and win the Pawtucket Women's Club Championship, I'm just saying.
It all has to do with GolfNewsRI.
I mean,
only making the connections.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Events coming up for the Burke Fund. You guys have been promoting it on social media. You have the Burke Fund tournament, September 2nd.
September 2nd at Warwick Country Club. We do still have spots available. So we sell foursomes. You can register as a single player, and we also have tee signs available.
So you can just email you guys or email.
Yep, they can email me, or it's right on our website too. You can sign up right there.
Those Burke Fund tournaments are always at good courses.
Right. Well, they're always at good courses, and you know we always have. We're very fortunate. Our silent auction is always top tier. We usually have Sakonnet, Shelter Harbor, Wannamoyset. You know, all the top courses in Rhode Island. So a lot of people come because they like the silent auction, and all the proceeds go towards scholarships.
So what else with the Burke Fund? What else should people know about the Burke Fund if they want to get involved or get a scholarship themselves?
So we do have, if you know you belong to a private club in Rhode Island, our private clubs are very good supporters of the Burke Fund. We have ball markers in each of the pro shops, and the members are charged $25 for our bag tag program, and all that money goes directly towards scholarships. We have our marathon, which I don't know if you've participated in it, but your dad has.
It's one of the craziest things there. You guys play like 100 plus holes. It's a little different because you can play. Essentially, I could be off on this, but if you hit like 2 balls on a hole,
we count it.
It counts on as 2 holes. So it's not like a true.
Right, but it's still a long day.
Still a lot. Yeah,
so you know, you have to play a minimum of 100 holes, and people they don't stop. They just keep going until the sun goes down. So people have played 150, 160 holes, but and that's one of our largest fundraisers. That'll be in October.
And there's still, of course, to be determined, which you guys, I'm sure, will be announcing
very soon. Yeah.
And you guys have raised, I don't know what the number is over the last handful of years, but you guys raised a ton of money by doing that, right?
We do. So we raise anywhere between, depending on the year. With COVID years, it kind of threw a wrench in it, as it threw a wrench in everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But anywhere between $60,000 and $100,000 we've raised with our marathon.
Awesome. It's good stuff. So get involved with the Burke Fund, the tournament on September 2nd at Warwick, and the marathon watch out for the marathon coming in October. It's literally one of the craziest things you'll ever see. My dad's like, I played 140 holes today. But we'll wrap up with Amanda Parker and also some announcements on the Devin Quigley Memorial Tournament coming up next on GolfNewsRI TV. Welcome back to GolfNewsRI TV. I'm Joe Calabro. Thanks again to everybody who's viewed the episodes, whether you watch them on TV or watch them on YouTube. And thanks to all the sponsors for continuing to make GolfNewsRI TV possible. We're in season 2 now, halfway through season 2, unbelievably. And it's been so much fun to produce content, and not only on the website, but TV as well. So thanks to everybody for watching and sponsoring and everything else. And hopefully we'll continue to do this and produce great content. We're here at Pawtucket Country Club with Amanda Parker, the executive director of the Burke Fund, and you wanted to interview me.
I did. I wanted to flip the tables a little bit, turn the tables.
All
so
right.
I was wondering, what did it mean for you to receive a Burke scholarship when you received one?
When I went to college all those years ago.
All those years
Yeah.
ago.
I mean, it was huge because, like I said, obviously the financial component of it, but you know, I was always caddying at Kirkbury. I still caddy once in a while for the 4-day when my dad wants me to hang out with him. And so it's to be involved in the game and then be able to get a scholarship and help pay for stuff through it kind of was like extra. And then obviously, like we talked about in the first segment, you always have that alumni base of, hey, I'm a Burke scholar and you're a Burke scholar, and you know, let's all go hang out or something, you know, whatever. You know,
you never know the connections that you can make through it.
Yeah, no. So it was huge, and then you know, it's kind of funny. Like fast forward all these years later, like I'm working in the game of golf, quote unquote. It's a toy department, I say, and so it's kind of cool to now be able to bring attention to different things. It was the Burke Fund, or you know, we did a couple of shows last year with First Tee Rhode Island and different things. So I was in a position that we built GolfNewsRI up to impact a little bit. Anyways, it all started with a Burke Fund scholarship back when I was caddying and working the bag room at Kirkbury, and then, you know, like I said, to be able to have that to go to school with, and then all these years later still have it means something. You know, is awesome. So yeah, it was a big deal at the time, obviously, and you know, it's still pretty cool today.
And you're still connected with the Burke Fund, so that's very cool. That's why a lot of times we say once a Burke scholar, always a Burke scholar, because you know, and it's Rhode Island, so it comes full circle all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a small world, as we all know, especially in the golf. The golf community is a small-ish community. It's a big community, but it's a small community.
Especially in Rhode Island.
Yeah, especially in Rhode Island. So, yeah, it's been awesome. So anyway, real quick, September 2nd, we have...
September 2nd, Warwick Country Club.
And there's still some spots available.
There's still spots available for foursomes and singles.
As of this taping. And then the marathon's coming up sometime in October, a date and a course to be determined, but I'm sure you guys will be announcing that.
We'll be announcing that, and I'll let you know, and you can post it out on your socials as well. Yeah,
well, of course, absolutely. And then one last thing, you guys just did polo.
We did.
And I've never been to a polo match.
Oh, you should have. Your dad was there.
I know. I'm aware. Was it the craziest thing you ever watched, or what?
It is so fun. So Newport Polo does every year. They do an all charity day. So it's for charities in Rhode Island, nonprofits, and you can register. And then all the proceeds, if you sell your own tickets, and all the proceeds that you make go directly back to your own nonprofit. So they do it special on a Sunday. And this year was actually the first all polo match that had all women playing, which is very cool.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very neat. So that's awesome. Yeah, I saw some of the pictures, and I know my dad, my parents, I think both my parents went. So yeah, I've never been to a polo match. Maybe one of these days.
You'll have to come next year.
Thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's Amanda Parker, Executive Director of the Burke Fund. If you're interested in being part of the Burke Fund or trying to apply for a scholarship, reach out to her, and she'll point you in the right direction. But thank you again.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, a couple of quick things on the Devin Quigley Memorial Tournament. It's coming up August 18th at Crestwood Country Club. August 18th would be Devin's birthday. And again, GolfNewsRI is excited and honored to be the official media partner of the event. The date I want you to keep in mind right now, though, is Wednesday morning, August 6th. Greg Burke and myself will be on the road show to talk about the tournament and promote it. and talk about what's going on. Again, all the proceeds go to the URI golf team and the East Providence golf team. So it's a big deal. Foursomes are sold out, but there's still room for donations and other things. So super excited to be part of it, and we'll see you at Crestwood on August 18th. That wraps it up for another episode of GolfNewsRI TV. I'm Joe Calabro. We'll talk to you next week.
You've been watching GolfNewsRI TV with host Joe Calabro.